I feel myself connecting with my heart a little bit as I'm looking at you, my love for this walk and my love for you as well, which is appropriate because today's talk is about self-love and the heart. So I just wanted to start off by just getting in touch with the love inside me. So thank you.
Mm.
Um, I'm just going to read a little thing that I wrote. So many of my personal issues that I feel like I've struggled with in my life, I feel like stemmed from not loving myself truly. I always felt like there was like a hole inside of me. Or years ago, I told you once I felt that there was a computer chip that should be here that's missing. Something's missing. I remember,
Mm.
and I feel bad about this even now. When I was a kid, once my mother and father threw this great birthday party for me and invited all my friends, and I ate my favorite food and I did everything that was just that I wanted. And after they asked me, how do you feel? And I said I was still sad. Like somehow it just wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
felt kind of ungrateful. But now that I'm on this walk, I realize it was more than just that. Like
Mm.
nothing is going to fill that hole the way that we think about it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, you
Yes.
know, and so at the same time, though, I feel like I need the self love, and we need the self love to stand straight. The self love is so important, but how can you even talk about self love on this walk when you keep saying let go of the self, walk away, sort of like don't hold on to the self? The word self love seems to be in direct conflict with what you're trying to teach us. So the words are getting in the way of the understanding. So
Mm.
I thought we could just start with you just explaining, what Gurjia for you, or what you mean when you say we need the self love, and what is self love.
Mm. Mm. It's like if I just say one word, it's just the connection where the heart is missing. It's just like a person is disconnected from its own heart. And but when you open that area, then it's not only about one thing. It's like even the heart is one word, but it's like the connection is so many different ways. It just goes toward the heart. So when we're calling it the self love, and I always says come back to your heart. It's like or I or sometimes the people say, um, I don't love myself. I want to love myself and take care of myself. It's like there's so many different areas, but everything goes toward the heart, which is understandable by the mind, the heart. And so to reconnect with the heart is like you reconnecting with your own inner love. In the beginning, it's not like a love. In the beginning, it comes as an ache, as a hole that's missing something in me. I don't know. I don't know. I have everything, but I'm not happy. Right? There is a hole in the heart. There is a missing. There's a connection is missing. Right? So even though I'm talking about all the years, come back to your heart. Come back. Even though your journey is about this, it's meaningless if you are disconnected from your heart, if you are disconnected from your love, and as well from the life. If the one is disconnected from its own heart, it's like it's unfulfilled, unlived life. as well. So as we go on, I'll just, you can remind me, I'll just touch bases again and again, each part. So first is, it's not about how to love myself, how to reconnect with my heart. Because when the how comes, then the question comes from the mind. Doership comes from the mind. And then it becomes mechanical. I want to connect with my heart, mind, right? If you hear this, that you know this is missing in me. It has been. All along in my whole life, there was missing thing. I was looking outside, but if something is missing inside of me, right? It's like if something is missing inside of me, you turn your face toward your own self, which I call it always, turn your face toward your heart first. So slowly, slowly, if your face is toward the heart, and then you can begin to see how much you're not living from your heart, how much you're disconnected from your heart. Never listen to the mind. Mind says, okay, you are from the heart. You're a kind person, right? You're a gentle person, you're giving.
Good friends,
and
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But it's like if you listen to the mind and then you trying to satisfy yourself with your thoughts, your own ideas, beliefs, perceptions. And it's easy to just make own self content with something, some kind of thought. And when the person turns the face toward the heart, it's not that easy. Heart is not like a mind. So sometimes the people feel so scary to turn the face toward its own heart.
Yes.
Right? It's scary. Why is scary? Because there is a loss of this I, of this self, the mind. Right?
Yeah, maybe we could just take a little detour, stop at that, and to talk a little bit more about that, because that's something that I personally can relate to tremendously. I think I've said this to you before, that I, had some issues in relationships early on, and I sort of said, relationships aren't for me, romantic relationships, and there's still a little opening, but I don't know, and there's always this fear. So the spiritual path on a personal level for me was almost like an escape, like, oh, I'll just work on myself instead of, so it's like to avoid the intimacy. But now,
Josh, pardon me,
please.
sorry for the interruption. Your microphone's rubbing quite a bit on your collar.
Oh, awkward. Why is it doing that? That never happens.
Thank you.
Let me sit up a little straighter, and if it happens again, just let me know, Mark.
Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, it is. It looks like it'll stay away. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so anyway, but I realized, the moments sometimes with you where I have opened in my heart, open to myself, I feel the exact same fear of intimacy and vulnerability as if it was with another person.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy. And I realize you're being vulnerable. I don't know if you're being vulnerable to God or the truth or honesty or yourself. I don't know what the object of that vulnerability is, but I just know that there's this vulnerable uncomfortableness of just like, wow, I'm laid bare, I'm naked, whatever the word is. And it's very uncomfortable for sure. It's like, because then I don't think you can really be in that love without being open with others as well. It's just openness is openness. And it's so raw. You know, it seems that way too.
Yeah, it's like when we are beginning to return toward ourself or into ourself, it's so scary. And especially from the heart. Because the heart is not about protection. It's not about a self-gain, right? So it's not, if it's not protecting you, if it's not about a self-gain, it's about self-loss. And then to your own self is scary. Because normally everybody thinks, I know myself. Nobody knows its own self, nobody. Just thinking is being, it's like through the thinking, the person is being convinced that I know myself, right? So when the person goes into this, begin to go deeper, even so many times through the connections, openness, and this vulnerability, this raw kind of feeling, this foreign kind of feeling, it's like a kind of a loss kind of feeling. I'm losing something, right? This comes first. Or I should say it comes anyways, one way or the other, whenever it comes, it comes.
Feels like losing protection somehow. There's a protection that's lost.
Yes. So regardless, if the one is still choosing to go deeper in this heart level, and then you have to move through those stages though. It's not comfortable.
No.
It's not according to this thought, this mind where the person has been stuck, right? Person is justifying oneself with this own stuckness. But going back into the heart, it's like this rawness, this vulnerability. The person learned to bear with it, not to doubt it. So many ways the person is, as you said, person is actually running away from falling in love.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, because even normal life, it's like some people, it's like accidentally they can fall in love. But consciously, nobody lets themselves to fall in love. Because there's self-control. So
yeah,
even the some people when they have this experience in this lifetime, once they fall in love, then they know what it means. It's a kind of helpful point, but it's not it though. It's not according to, because then afterwards the person think, okay, I know this. It's only a little bit of guideline for you to bear with it. Because whenever you fall in love, the pain comes with it. Not only vulnerability or this rawness, but at the same time, there is a pain, there's an ache. But when we are in a surface level, it's just in love with someone. And then we think, okay, if we meet with that person, then that ache will be gone. Then your attention is being just diverted toward the person. We forget about inner opening. So that's why when the two people, they fall in love with each other, they cannot live without each other. So they have to be together. Right? So, but some people, it's not They can manage. They can drift away from it. They don't want to be like that and all that. But if you just use that for your inner, because inner is more difficult because there is no one there to connect with.
No one
So
to
your
cuddle
pain,
with.
yeah, so the pain doesn't go away, it increases. But that's what I call is our yearning, our calling. Our calling is like from the other side, from the higher level, you can call it.
Almost calling us home in a way we don't understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we only want to fulfill this. We want to fulfill this hole, this void. We don't want to feel it. So that's why in a normal life, the whole life, the person is trying to fulfill this hole with outside.
Yeah.
That is never able to be fulfilled. Only the mind convinces you it's okay. This is life. This is the way you should be.
Yeah.
That this path is hidden. As you said in the childhood, you saw your discontentment. Your parents were unable to understand you. You were unable to understand yourself. Your society, nobody knows what it means, what you're hungry for.
You just kind of think something's wrong with you.
Yes. Yes.
Or you're spoiled. Kind of nothing's good enough for you kind of thing. You're not grateful, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. 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 But most of the people, they come with this. They come with this. It's like this hole in the heart, we call it. They come with it. They know it's there. But at the same time, it's kind of unknown journey, unknown way.
Hmm.
Scary.
Yeah. Partly because the human being, mankind, doesn't really know what to say about it. I mean, now that I'm just listening to you and thinking about it, I mean, there's philosophers and religions and deep talks with friends over a beer, and everybody talks about there's something greater that connects us and we're longing for that, and then they kind of have another beer and then they joke around, and it doesn't really get to any place where you're like, that's it. There's never a that's it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With many things, we just try to fulfill this whole. Because you don't understand, your mind doesn't understand. As I said, your society, your even parents, nobody understands. So there's no one is there to guide you. So once in a while, It's like if you able to find a teacher or someone who's capable to point you out, right? So then your journey begins. But it's very rare, very, very rare. Like, because I said there's many people I have met, they have this, but they're running away from it at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's painful and scary, and we're kind of we're trained by the society that it's no big deal, and you fill that up with things. You find a meaningful job. I mean, I can't say how many like times I've seen workshops, spiritual workshops. Find your passion. Find your meaning. What's your purpose in life? Everybody has a purpose. You can find it,
Yeah.
and you'll become congruent with that purpose, and then you'll know peace like you've never known it before. All these, it's just now it just seems like so dumb.
Yeah. You see, it's like a mind is trying hundreds of thousands of different ways to fulfill that hole. It's like the whole is not something, it's like a materialistic thing that you fill with something. Whole is your path, it's your calling to the greater, to the higher living.
Yeah, it's like just coming in now as I'm opening to this whole bigger picture of the system. Like all religions are built on this, all philosophies are built on this, all of these self-help programs, people like Tony Robbins. You might not even know who Tony Robbins is. He's this big motivational speaker. He's so rich and so big and famous, and apparently a really powerful individual, and he connects people with their higher purpose, whatever. But the whole thing, even like Buddhism and Christianity and all these things, like people are just using them to feel like it's that. And if I have that, I'll be okay. Finally, I'll be okay.
Yeah. Everything, whichever way it is, it's like we cannot label it. It's like it's a bad, but just see that it's like nothing will fulfill that whole. The whole does not need to be fulfilled. It's the love, it's the longing. But yes, the love, longing, there is a pain in it. It's deep, deep pain in it, right? But this is the way for the self-love as well. Right? Because we think if we are just even following something or trying to take care of ourselves, right? We eat better food, we exercise, we do things, right? We listen to good music, or we just listen to good spiritual talks and stuff like that. That is self-love. That is bringing the self-love. It's just temporarily something is fulfilling you, but this is not producing the self-love though. Because some parts are very tricky. It's like even you try to eat better food, but at the same time you're gonna judge. There's so much bad food, right? So even you become a religious person, you judge the people who are not religious, right? It's like either way, you're trying to be a better person. Your focus goes outward, like, oh, look how many people they're not doing it, right? So that judgment is what is bringing, what kind of water is bringing back into you is it's not serving the purpose. It's not bringing the self-love, right? But we believe somehow we'll just create something. Yeah, but we cannot create the self-love. Love is everything, but when the person's heart opens through this journey.
It almost feels
Through-
like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I
Through
was
this,
just
just turning the face toward own self.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like
Because when your face is not turning inward and anything you do is outward, it's for the outward, even yours is outward. Because everything is in the doership. I do, I need to do, I need to take care of myself, right? But if I is, as I said, it's a mind thing. It's okay to do that, but it's not it though. It's not bringing the self-love. It's also the another way, secret way the person is in the judgment as well.
getting better than I was. Maybe I'm better than others, whatever.
Yeah. That ego and
This is the right way. That's the wrong way.
Yeah.
Feels like when you talk about those. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
When your face is turning inward, and then you know that there was a judgment in me, you know there was an ego in me, right? You know there was so many flaws in me, because when the face is turning this way, through this doership, it's not turning this way, it's for this way, but not this way though. It's for me, for I, for the best way, best purpose, you know. But when we're turning the face this way, and then your focus begins to drop by acknowledging it, that how much my focus is outward.
Feels like the love itself is almost like you just open through your heart, and the love is actually like almost like a gift or something. It's not your love even. It's just the love, and it's earned or something. But there's a big misunderstanding about even love. Feels like the love happens, like it happens.
Yes. Because according to the I does not know what love means. Because mostly the I misunderstanding with the connection with the attachment, right? And we think that's love, as you said earlier, passion. That's my passion, right? It's my love. But this is according to the I. Yeah, it's a very limited way we are thinking this is the love. As I said, the person is actually afraid to fall in love. It's fearful because you're going to lose all your conditioned mind in that love. Even the people, two people, if they're truly in love with each other, of course they're going to lose their own structural world.
Yeah, you just have to make, this is probably not the deepest words I could use, but almost make room for a different agenda other than your own personal agenda. You just have to bow to something, even when you're in love with a person, if that person needs something. Okay, today we're going to do this. You don't feel well. You want to do this. You want to do that. Your mother's sick, whatever. But on the higher, it just seems like the same thing, but on a bigger level. You just open up to, you always say its way. Well, when you're in love with a higher purpose or the path, it's its way. It's not your way. And life's going to take you in different places and show you different things on its own timetable that you don't understand, and you just sort of have to be open to receive. And it's really not about, you can't control anything really, so it's very vulnerable and giving up of your own self agenda, which is a lessness for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even like then we begin to see that how much we are beating our own self when we turn our face toward ourselves, toward our heart. Even the word you mentioned about the control, the self-control even, or try to control.
Mhm.
It's just a huge misunderstanding. But it's not letting you be in this love though. It's just trying to control, trying to own. It's just illusion the person is stuck into, that I can control something.
And in this moment, as you're saying that, somehow I'm aware that there's even so much self-beating in any kind of control, because there's no softness of surrender. There's incredible hardness in any kind of self-control, controlling inside or outside. And you're missing all the gentleness.
Yes.
You kill all the gentleness.
Yes.
And there's no room for love in that control.
Yes. Yes.
Because love itself is almost the opposite of control. Love is like, who said it the other day in their connection, thy will be done.
Yes.
That's love.
Yes. 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 So just see that we need to earn it. It's not a word, thy will be done, right? It's not just a word. If you only know when you taste it for a little bit, you know at the moment what it means. The rest of the time, the person is just can justify himself with this word.
It's easy to
Because
come in with the mind.
yes, 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 yes. Just because it's like even like the whatever religion way or spiritual way or any other ways, it's like when we hear the words, the mind grabs the word. And then it started to justify himself with the word. Right? Because even like the message and the religion is a much deeper than the way people are connected with the religion, right? Because everybody's trying to connect from like this way. First is my religion, and then whatever word is mine, right? It doesn't, because if you take that word inside of you, you know, your structure's gonna fall.
Yeah.
Which is unbearable to the person. That's why you need a teacher. And every step, you need a teacher. who can help you, who can hold your hand in a way.
Yeah, because in that sense, it seems like the mind will do everything it can to get you off of this path. Like, let's go this way. Let's go that way. My future doesn't know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just doubt inside and out.
Yeah. 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 Because everything else is the familiar, or even religion is familiar to us. It became a structure. It became like mind. So anything the person is familiar with, outside or your own, is old. The person has been living with this old. And this old is familiar. There is suffering in the old, but it's familiar. And that's why nobody wants to let go of this old. It's familiar. In many ways, it's comfortable. I can sleep in it because it's like this person is believing, because mind protects you.
And even when you're suffering greatly, it's not quite the same as the true vulnerability and the true surrender. It's just not quite the same. There's still so much grabbing and bigness and controlling on your side. Like if there's something you really, really want, or just you're struggling to get, or you're in the loss of something you're trying, you're not really surrendering. You're still in the battle. There's still a battle going on.
Yeah. It's like alone, you don't know what's going on in you. You don't know. You think you know. You believe so strongly that you know yourself. But you don't know. That is the bottom line. That's why you need a teacher. If you know yourself, that is a much higher state though. Know thyself, right? It's a higher state. You don't know. This is when your journey is gonna begin. You have to admit that. So if you're suffering, even in the suffering, it depends on the person. Sometimes in the suffering, the person is so big. Because it's so blind in it. Right? And sometimes in the suffering, it's like I call it conscious suffering. Person is suffering consciously. It's like a person does not know which way to go, what to do, but inside it's a suffering. It's a super sad, super unsatisfied. So the blind suffering is like, even though it's very big way beating your own self, it's like the person is still can just justify oneself with it, too big in it. And the other person can be, it's like a little bit open to it, because it's conscious of its own suffering. Still don't know the path, but at least it's a conscious. So if you're conscious, then you're not gonna suffer too long. And the other person can suffer for ages, because person is in a sleepy, egoistic state. There is no time for that person. It can go on.
They're blind to themselves, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Blind way, there was no time limit. The person it's like it goes on. And conscious way, and the person is running out of its time. Time exists to the person.
And I guess you would say that's what we're aiming for, turning towards, is the idea of, we know we're going to suffer. I mean, it's part of the process, but this conscious suffering where we see the personal suffering, we know there's something greater. We stand straight and stay with it. We open to it. And just like you say, bear it. You say that so many times, which is very different than engaging. Maybe that's a good way to say it, to engage in the suffering, to identify with the suffering. It's like, no, I must, back to the love. That girl must marry me. I must have her. No, I need her. Kind of sort of like, instead of saying, okay, wait, I see that I'm in so much suffering and pain, but I'm keeping my eyes towards my own wanting, my own grabbing, my own desperation, which is very, very different. At least that's how I'm feeling the distinction of what you're bringing to us right now.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like to see that when we are turning the face toward own heart, own self, it's like then our judgment is also dropping toward the world, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before the person is saying, okay, I'm not going to go that way, it's attachment. I'm not going to go that way, it's greed. But I'm not saying you go this way. I'm saying open your eyes, clear your path, earn this impersonalness, openness toward everything.
And so it's not so much about what you do or don't do, it's about what you're opening to and conscious of and aware of.
Yes. It's like so many different ways. It's like you see that attachment, right? The person hears the word attachment, person says, okay, I don't need to be attached. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Person sees lust, greed, right? Sexuality. The person wants to just cut off from everything. But how you can cut off from everything when you are that?
Right.
So we don't understand we are that. You just need to wake up in it.
All right, so there's something's coming as far as a question. There's a tricky spot that I'm seeing right now that I want to bring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the example of a food addict. Okay, somebody who's addicted to eating food, and like there's like a donut in front of you. Let's talk about donuts, but there's like, you could sort of say, okay, I see that I want the donut. I don't need the donut. I just had a salad, but I want the donut. You could say, well, it's not bad to have a donut. Let me see my attachment as I participate in the donut and eat it. You could sort of trick yourself and get lost in telling yourself that you're conscious of it, but really you're playing hide and seek with yourself. You're just identifying with this and letting yourself be taken over by this urge, by this addiction. It could be sex, it could be a donut, it could be a job, it could be making money, it could be a wife or husband, it could be anything. There's a line somewhere. There's a spot where you can sort of get tricked into thinking you're conscious, but really you're just totally participating.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm asking?
It's like in the beginning, the person is only trying to be free from the attachment or from whatever we call it, sexuality, from greed, right? It's just trying to be free from it. But this is not awakened state though, right? So sometimes the person uh, go into this self-discipline. Okay, I need to take care of myself. I'm not gonna eat donuts, right? I'm gonna eat salad, right? It's just like a small things you do. There's so many things you do, but it's not about what to do and what not to do, right? When you are awakened within yourself, and then you see the both states, do, not to do, good, bad, right, wrong. This is an awakened state. So the awakened state is moving you beyond both states, right? This is awakened being means. If you're awakened, you see both, right and wrong, right? In the beginning, you see the split. If you see the split and then slowly, slowly, you able to move beyond this split, it comes together. When it comes together, there's a sense of completeness in the system, right? Because otherwise the mind is just split into two things, right and wrong, good and bad. But when you move beyond, you're in an awakened state, then if you are, if for example, you keep on eating donuts, you keep on eating, right? Awakened being much conscious of it. So even to the awakened being, because it's not going to participate too much into it, because it's awakened. It's like consciously you cannot lie to yourself. You can habitually, you can eat a little bit something and go on, and then you're going to notice, oh, right? Because your awakened state is just like, you know what you're doing.
See that you're participating or grabbing or whatever.
Yeah. You much aware of it. So then you're not going to go on. Okay? You're not going to create more split in your person. You want to bring your person more together. So even you still see your flaws, you keep on seeing your flaws, but it's for the goodness. It's like your awareness is increasing. Your participation is less and less and less. But not according to the mind. Mind said, don't do it. Right? But to the awakened person who's really home, to the person even eating a donut, it's not a poison. Right? But not blindly. Blindly, you're just stuffing yourself. You unconscious. Unconsciously, as I said, it's like if the person is sleepy, unconscious, there is no time exist for the person, there's a blindness. You don't even know what you are doing, right? But in awakened state, you know that. And in the awakened state, you earn more love. Because you're not judging yourself. You're not judging even the food. You're just opening. Each thing is helping you to be more aware of your own self, though. So you're earning their self-love. Keep on earning self-love.
The awakened being may eat the donut, may eat the salad, and might see the inner wanting or the grabbing and just know itself more and more and more as it brings these opposites together, and to see the little personal ways the ego might be hiding and just continually open to itself. They get to know itself better and better.
It's like we call it, I need to get better, right?
Oh.
This is what you're saying?
No. Sorry. I'm saying, yeah, let me try again. So what I'm hearing, or one way to look at it, is the awakened being sees the good, sees the bad, And whether they eat the donut or not is just so aware of the little, if there's any ego that's hiding, if there's any preference that's hiding, or any good or bad that's hiding, just gets to know itself better and better. And
Mm-hmm.
that's it, just continually seeing and learning. Whatever it does or doesn't do almost doesn't matter. If it's open to learn, the love is increasing, the self-knowledge is increasing, the awareness is increasing.
Yes.
The
Yes.
smallness.
Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
So it's much less about whether you have the sex or have the donut or have the salad. It's much more about just what you're aware of is happening inside your person. Yeah,
Because you're present. You're present. Sleepy way, you're not present.
right.
Unconscious, blind is you're not present. If you're not present, and then many things you do, you're not even aware of, but you think you do. You believe you do. So it's just like if you're awakened in your weakness, and the same weakness is expanding you. Okay? So if you are aware of your weakness, and the possibility is more and more in this weakness of yours, this is constantly opening you, expanding you, bringing the self-love in you. Right? So before, I should not go into my weakness. But conscious way, weakness is holding the possibility to be in the more. Possibility to go deeper, possibility to expand your mind, your heart, possibility this beingness can be transformed, able to be transformed.
I feel as you're talking that this is like an incredibly important thing. And you've said it many times before, but it's like I feel inside me there's a confusion or a sticking point of like, because that's the exact opposite of what anybody else would tell you or say, which is like through your weakness, that's the true freedom, the possibility for the freedom and the love is just opening inside your actual weakness that we spend on the surface so long trying to avoid or control our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can even feel on a personal level like that there's a part of me that's like, I don't get it. I'm trying to understand it. What are you saying, Gurpreet?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the one thing that I do have a sense of is that there's the possibility of freedom from that weakness only through truly opening in that weakness.
Yes, yes,
But I don't know what that means.
yeah. Because it's a strong belief. So many people, they go into the very intense way to the spiritual path, right? So for them, all these things are prohibited. Don't eat that much food. Don't have the sex. No attachment, right? No lust. It's just like no, 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 no. Don't attach to the world, right? It's like just see that person has just left everything. Because according to the belief is like this is it's like a moving you toward the freedom. This is the path to the freedom. So you see that all the doors are closed.
Yeah, I do. There's still this thing inside me that's going, danger, danger. Like I'll give you another example. Take a true alcoholic, someone who really is addicted to alcohol. In the world, we say that you're an alcoholic forever. There's 12-step programs. There's Alcoholics Anonymous. There's these groups that help the alcoholics. And one of the things that they do is they always say, I'm an alcoholic. You could not have a drink for 30 years, not touch alcohol for 30 years. You say, I'm an alcoholic. And that's how you sort of keep yourself small and keep yourself humble and always know that that is a weakness of yours. But you would never, like you would never tell an alcoholic, just have one drink, but stay conscious. Because there's this fear that you're going to fall back into the addiction and it's going to ruin your life and kill you. And they say that. They say, a drink can kill me. So that's the only way that I stay safe is by knowing that a drink can kill me. I don't touch it. So that's an extreme example I'm giving you. I understand that. But it's just like, or is it an extreme example? Are some people that way with a donut? Are some people that way with sex where it's just so, they're just not able to stay conscious if they even taste it. They're not ready with that maturity to even let themselves taste.
Yeah. It's like if you're not awakened in your own weakness, then of course you're still prisoner. You're prisoner of this weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're not drinking last 30 years, you're still prisoner.
Yes.
Because you're not awakened. You have to wake up in your own weakness, which is scary as well. It's like you feel like you're going backward. You feel like you're getting worse than before. Because the world is saying you need to get better. You need to get better. Today, you didn't drink anything. Better. Next day, it's better, better, better. But we don't see that. The person is still prisoner. Even rest of the 50, 60 years is still prisoner. Prisoner of its own weakness. Scared. I hope I don't fall back into that hole. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you see, it's a prison. But person don't think, person believe, okay, I need to go on. I need to live on. Positive way, better way. But nobody wants to wake up.
See.
Because waking up is not easy. It's not like something pleasant to the mind. It's not according to the mind. Right? But the reality is in the waking up though.
I see the addiction becomes so powerful that you almost just like shut it off. Just like put a huge wall up and just say, I'm not going to ever touch that. And then you don't, and it's fine if you never touch it, but you almost, some people don't work on it still to work on seeing the weakness and opening to the weakness.
Yeah, yeah. Because this is how the world works. So don't or do. Right?
Duality.
Yeah. But if you are in this, you're awakened in your weakness, and then to the person, the do's and don'ts is different. It has a different kind of texture. It's like because there is no wall in between. There's no self-gain from anything. And it's just such a different state, which mind cannot understand. And mind does not want you to go to this path.
The mind almost loses its superpowers in that place. It's like all the mind is, it's a right wrong machine. So for that in that land, in that country, in that universe, the mind is just like almost powerless, and it doesn't like that.
Yeah. But if you choosing to turn your face toward your heart, and then mind can follow.
Mm. Mm.
But normally we think we need to exclude the mind.
Yes.
Then there is no material. If you exclude your mind, you're excluding the whole structure. What is there to wake up into? There is nothing.
Yes, so that's a big misunderstanding. I see that I was doing that just then. I was doing a right wrong with the mind and the higher.
Mm. Mm.
It's so easy in these tricky, and as you walk down the path, they become trickier, these ways to keep the right wrong dynamic alive, to have better, worse, get rid of the mind, be in the purity. And just those words, be in the purity. You mean something when you say that, and we hear something completely different sometimes when you say that.
Exactly.
Not like really, we're not capable to listen because we don't understand your words.
Yeah. For longest time, it's just like since I'm just being with the students, it's like every student, when I'm saying something, it says, okay, this means you think this, right? Because nobody can stay with what I'm saying. It's just your own mind is just interfering and saying, this is what she's saying? Okay, I can do that. Or why is she saying this?
What does it mean?
Yeah, or this is not the way it should be. Yeah. But if you hear directly, it's because direct way is the shattering, it's a shattering you. It's just like you being shattered, right? If there was a structure like your protection, you're gonna be shattered, right? This whole structure is gonna fall if you hear directly. But if you're just a little bit open, and then when you hear something, it pierces your heart. If you're a little bit more open from the heartful way, it touches your heart. When it touches your heart, it's like each time something is touching your heart, it's just like drop by drop. It's just like the self-love is happening. Because now you're beginning to receive the touches. Because if the mind comes first, it just protects you. It's going to say something to protect you. And then what goes inside is opposite. What is going to go from the protection? Negative, something negative. Then what we are feeding. This is not self-love. But we think the protection is good, but the self-love is missing. Okay?
It's like all that control is like the true love killer. Control kills the love.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, if you lose your control, then you feel like I'm just losing my intelligence. I can go insane. I'm not going to be intelligent anymore. I'm going to be dumb, right? But that's the path toward your self-love. Even though you don't receive anything yet, but this is the way. If you just consciously letting yourself be open yourself to be in this way. Because awakened being may not be a very intelligent person in worldly ways, but at the same time, the awakened being is connected with this higher knowledge, which can be nothing according to the mind in the beginning. You trust within again and again. It's like the drop by drop is coming to your beingness. It's just like it's fulfilling. But not in the beginning, it's fulfilling. In the beginning, it's scary. You're just trusting. But then slowly, slowly, you're capable to trust from your heart, right? You love to trust, you see? Self-love.
Like truly surrendering to the higher will is just what's coming.
Yes.
Total giving up of control, giving up of agenda. And opening to the ways that you're blocking, opening to the ways that you're still getting in the way of that trust.
Yes. That's self-love. Because through the self-love, you can move toward the higher love, right?
So self-love is actually opening to and embracing all the things that we avoid when we do what we think is self-love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to my addiction or my weakness, with true openness, without judgment. That's self-love.
That way, we're opening inside and outside as well.
You know, outside to the world, to others.
It's like as I said earlier, for the spiritual person, it's based on don't do, cut off, cut that attachment, cut the world.
I see.
Okay? If you cut the world, it's like the world becomes your enemy. Right? So you have to keep your door so tight shut because you don't want this enemy to destroy you. But in this openness, this self-love from this heart, it's like you open to the world. Because you open to the world, it destroys your ego. It shatters your belief system. But at the same time, you're earning more this love. There's a more. We close the door. We only want to be somewhere. My world, my higher world, right?
More control.
But closed away. Yeah. Incredible control.
Yeah,
Self-control. Yeah.
And controlling the world too. Like I can't be near this. I can't come too close to that. I have to so much energy and hardness, like self-beating again.
Yeah. Because nothing can be accomplished within without this self-love. Because you can't relate. You can't relate with this higher state of your beingness without this self-love. The relation only purifies through your own openness. Openness to whatever you see within or from outside of you.
Almost feels like the love is, I don't want to say the most important thing because you need all the qualities, but just like the gasoline that runs the car or whatever.
Yes, yes, yes. And without this love, your vehicle is not gonna go anywhere.
I can see the ways in which I personally, but I'm sure others too, have sort of like try to do everything but love. I'll do everything but that. And that's the do everything doership. That's where the doership's created, because you don't want to, because the love is the one thing that'll make you stop doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then it's the higher that does the doing to you almost. You become done to, you become the recipient of the doing. The truth will happen to you. God will happen to you. Your path will unfold to you. Like it's almost like you're the object of the doing, but we want to be the subject. We want to control everything that's done. So we do everything, but what you're saying now is the most important thing is the one thing we'll avoid. Just love.
Yes. Because the person says, okay, then how to love myself? How to do?
I gotta do it. Okay, give me a list. I'll write it down.
Yeah, you have
some
to
broccoli.
take that
Stand in
out
front
from
of
your list.
stand in front of the mirror and say, "I love you. You're good." Have some celery. Go for a walk. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, I think one of the big like aha take home things is like it's almost like black or white in a way. It's like you're either surrendering to the love or you're controlling and you're hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah. Yeah. Because this hurting on self is happening such an automatic way. We don't think we are hurting our own self.
I think we're helping.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Because it's happening such a tricky way. That how much we are hurting, how much we are in denial, that we're hurting ourselves, how much we are running away from ourselves. We are hurting. How much we're protecting, hurting ourselves, controlling, as you said, hurting, ego, hurting oneself, do's and don'ts, hurting oneself. It's like how much we are hurting. And you see that like since the child is born until after 80, 90 years, it's like how much we are hurting ourselves, been collected. So we don't die healthy.
It's like the whole system is built on these big fundamental blocks of misunderstanding. You have pain or weakness, that's bad. You have to make them do something to make them strong. You have to avoid that. You have to do something that's you're good at. Just the whole thing is built on the idea that the self should be glorified.
Mm, mm,
And you're just presenting the exact opposite view, which is like your whole fundamental structure, foundational concept, if I could even use a word like that, is just that you are an illusion. What you think you are is an illusion. And the path to the truth is by embracing or coming closer to the things that you really want to run from, your weaknesses, your fears, your addictions, your ugliness. And the more you can come close to them and see them, see what they really are and let them unfold and dissolve, the closer you'll come to the real you, which is not you. So the whole approach is so opposite because it's based on different fundamental understandings. And so we start with that false understanding and we just build more falseness on top of falseness.
yeah.
That's why we're
Yeah.
just so lost.
Yes, exactly. And this falseness, what we are putting more and more on ourselves, it's not something that's going to happen and it's going to be removed. We need to earn, we need to wake up, we need to be realistic. If we're not real, right? And somebody just gives us, like you said, the higher state is just being given, for example. If you're not real, you don't know what it means. It's useless. It's only when you earning this realness, this reality, right? You earning this from this self-love, you earning these qualities, then you're capable to relate with the higher states, which you have used the word like we're looking for, we will be glorified. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. It does exist, but your own part is not clean, and it won't. You're unable to acknowledge it. Okay? If you are real, then you know what real means. If you are in a higher state, you know what higher state means.
It's almost like this truth that we're all seeking can't even if you wanted to give it to us, even if God wanted to give it to us, it's we have to be at a certain level to receive it, to identify with it, to resonate with it, or else it's just nothing. We're not going to be able to join.
Because we are the one not able to join. We are the one is in the way.
It's great.
God is, yeah, the God is not in the way. Like God is not holding something back from us. It's all here, all given to us, but we need to earn this. We need to let go of our own misunderstandings. We need to be realistic. We need to be real, not superficial, not believing way, not egoistic way. Everything is a blockage.
We have
It's
to
in the
admit,
way.
what we really are, and where we're really at.
Yeah. Because the only way is like if you know you're in the prison, right, then something can be done.
But you have to know that
If
first.
if you think you're free, nothing can be done. Your door's already shut, closed. This connection with this heart is a connection. It's a love connection. This love connection means you see everything as a love. Anything you see it's like then it's just like it's gonna pinch you, because that's not love. You need to open your eyes in that as well.
Say that one more time. I don't quite.
It's like when you have earned this self-love,
Mhm.
and then it's like everything is love. There is understanding in this love. Okay? It's like a simple higher intelligence in this love. Right? But at the same time, as this person is living, and anything the person sees, it's like opposite than love. So it's just like that little bit is right away pinching the person. It's like alarm that also has to be earned.
I see. So you become more aware of the not love when you are
Yes.
with the love.
Exactly.
So it helps you see
Yes.
yourself better.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. Did you notice all the time? And you opening all the time.
Feels like there's so many ways to look at this love, and they're all metaphors, they're all images, and I know that they're all limited because of that, but I'm almost seeing right now, if I could just share one, it's almost like, and I've never had a child, but what I imagine it's like when you love your child, you see this beautiful thing and it's can't walk and it's so sort of weak, and every time you see a new part of yourself, you see a new pattern, you see a new flaw, you see a new weakness. It could be, you could look at it with the love of seeing your baby say its first word, take its first step. Like, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be a rejoicing of like, oh, I'm seeing more of my person. I'm seeing more of the ways that I get in the way, the ways that I cut myself off from truth. This is a beautiful, beautiful seeing. So grateful to see this, like almost like a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be negative.
Mm-hmm. And that's why even in the beginning, it's just like your mind goes into the confusion. There is so much pain. Consciously, there was so much pain. Consciously, there is so much love. But then slowly, slowly, if you keep on opening, you really falling in love with this walk. It doesn't happen like overnight. That's what I call it, path. This is the way. This is not just destination. Okay, I need to reach there and that's it, and it's gonna be done. It's just the way.
It's not like, okay, now my heart is in love. Now I know the love. Now I have 100% of the love. It's like always opening more.
Yeah. Time to time, it's gonna open. More you earn, it's gonna open.
And I mean,
But
those of us,
taste of opening each time is different. because you're earning more, you're being in the more, you're understanding more, you're much deeper, you're much okay, you're much honest.
It seems to me that for those of us in the group who sometimes struggle with being bored with life, or I have this thing that I've shared with you called "What's the point?" Nah, this everything is gray. Um, it seems like the moments when you see a new pattern, right? Like the other night, I was rolling around in bed and just fighting with all these imaginary people in my mind, these people that I'm mad at in my life, and I go through these imagined conversations in my mind. I'm really crazy with that, and I'm starting to really open to my own fantasies and my, situations that I create that are imaginary, all to make myself better. And I really have been opening to how I just want to always look good and win. And there's greed, and I see all these things. And there was definitely a couple of moments there where I was like, it didn't look gray anymore. There was color, there was freshness. Like, oh my God, like I'm starting to make it, like when you say you don't understand, the person doesn't understand the self. You understand yourself just a little bit more when you admit the truth. When you just admit the truth and you go, that's what I am. If I can get over it's not pretty, if I can get over the fact that it's not what I wanted, if I can just admit it, what I get is knowing myself. I get a possibility of forgiveness, if I can use that word, of acceptance, of coming together and being more just simple oneness. But just like there's a freshness in that, and that brings the love. Like I felt gratitude in that moment of just like, oh, I'm seeing me, really seeing me. This is really what I'm made of right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. That's really meaningful to you. Because it's like even though you're struggling, some parts are still struggling, but you also have earned so much as well. And that earned part, it just gives you glimpses when you're struggling even more. Because when you're struggling, you are in a much awakeful state. As I said, conscious suffering.
Well,
Right?
certainly.
When you are in a sleepy mode, that's a lazy mode, I call it. Then it's like, what's the point? It's like nothing is making me happy. What's the point of living? You just pass your day, right? It's the laziness, it's the sleepiness. No need to buy that. You need to get up and earn to be in this, live in this responsible way though.
As I'm connecting to my heart a little bit, I'm starting to see the pattern of what's the point is resting on this other belief system that the way is outward rather than inward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a misunderstanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the point? I'm going to die. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to be miserable, blah, blah, blah. But no, but you can see yourself. If you make your reason for living this way, there's always a point. There's always a point.
Yeah. Always, always, always. Yes. That's a really most meaningful way of being, living. This living is earning. Otherwise, as we said, the child, it's like pure beingness, it's born. But then at the end, it's all messed up. There is a more attached to it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think even from our own heart, like we need to even stay in this inner connection with, like we want to die healthy way. If we want to die healthy way, we cannot just live whatever old lazy way or irresponsible way. right? Or sleepy way. We cannot afford to live that way. You need that kind of company, the company who support you. You need your teacher. You need to be very closer to your teacher to move.
And it really helps to have a group to like-minded people who you can, that there's a community, there's a bigger one that sort of shows you that there's even a bigger one than the community. But you start off with, excuse me, it's just you're connected to something. You don't, the times where you get shaky and weak, you're not alone. You know that, okay, this is hard. Sometimes it's going to be hard, but there's a bigger momentum that's pushing me towards the truth. It's not just my momentum. It's not just my little will. There's all of us are contributing to each other's will. We're feeding each other's longing for the higher, actually. When somebody moves a little bit, it inspires all of us to want to move a little bit.
Yes, 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 yes.
On the personal issues, sometimes you have jealousy, whatever. That's not important. That's just a different personal aspect of what's really being touched, which is like there's a yes. You acknowledge that somebody is, wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. And you feel the first thing is you get drawn towards it. And then your person may have its own reaction, and that's fine. But before that happens, there's something very true and very subtle. There's a resonance, a connection. And that's why the group is so important. And of course, the teacher is so important because you guide us.
Yes. Both is important because you need this support all the time, and you know that, like, how easily we want to just go back to sleep. We want to go into our comfort. It's just because it's just pulling the person. Familiarity is pulling the person. Ego is pulling the person. But if you stay closer and you even tell the other person, just don't let me fall asleep. You do whatever, whether I like it, I don't like it. You just help me. Because some people, they're much open. They can hear other people and they're talking, their way of being. It's like it just keep on encouraging them. Some people, they need extra help.
And we all do need help. That's very clear.
Yeah.
I'm feeling touched right now by something that I'm seeing. Years ago, I was spending time with one of my heroes, my musical heroes. He's this guy who used to practice the piano 8 hours a day. It was like the you of music. He's always thinking about it and doing it. And he told me, he said, there's a magic, like if you just hit something like, there's that's not the same as when you touch a piano. You go, la, like this note, this sound touches you and just hits you and you just go, and he was explaining the beauty of music and we can't understand what it is. And it just occurred to me when I just got touched. It's just like when you see your flaw, when you see what you've been hiding from yourself, it's exactly the same beauty. It's like a note of music. It's just so pure. And it doesn't have to be ugly. It could be the most beautiful thing. It's like, oh, that's what I am.
Yes, yes, yes,
It's like a gift that you never will understand the beauty and why it's so beautiful, but it's beautiful.
it is. It is. To see that even that moment is touching you, is producing this love.
And I feel like the gratitude is being sprinkled,
Yeah,
but it's not my gratitude. It's just the gratitude. It's
yes,
just like,
yes,
that's another gift.
yes.
So, such an important connection for me to make that. Like, I see that that's so important, what I just felt and
Yes,
saw.
yes, yes,
It's like the new music.
yes, yes. It's like you remember many times. It's like I saw this. There was a rhythm in everything. Okay? There's a rhythm. Even noise is happening out there. There is a rhythm. Right? Um, it's like even when you're talking about this music and all of this, seeing it like one day, even at the Zoom when Mark plays the music, he turned this music on, and I was just seeing it like how this whole household is in this rhythm, this music, this this dance, all the plants. It's like it's like it's always happening. Nobody's doing anything. It's just for a moment. It's like you're not in the way, and then you see this rhythm. Everything is enjoying this small music. Even plants are enjoying it, and then whole household is enjoying it.
As you're making this connection, what's happening in me is that I'm seeing that even that you can learn so much about music, and I know so much about the rules and the ways that the notes work and the harmony works and the rhythm works, but I also just love it and it touches me. And so when even you, as awakened as you are, you know so much, you have so much incredible wisdom about so many things. But if for a minute, if we just let all that go, you have love. You just love it. And that's beyond any understanding and beyond any knowledge. You just love. And from that, everything else comes, but the love is first. It just is.
Mhm,
It's so
mhm,
simple, completely beyond.
mhm.
It's like playing a note on the piano. It touches you, and it's like this magical mystery that we'll never understand why it's beautiful and why it touches our heart. But it does. It's like it plays us. We're the instrument. We're the piano. The love plays us. And we vibrate.
Because there's so many precious moments through this love. It's like you understand this phenomenon. So many different ways you understand. It reaches much higher state. than mind knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that the mind knowledge is very impressive, but it's nothing. It's just nothing without it. There's nothing. It's like a piece of dust.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
there's nothing to it. It just doesn't even matter. You could get rid of all of it to have this love. It would be a million times better to know nothing and to have this love.
hmm hmm
And as I keep opening what I'm seeing inside myself, and I wonder if this is true for a lot of people who accumulate knowledge, is that there's this fear that something's wrong with me. Like I don't have the love. I can't have the love. My heart is flawed. It's weak. It's broken. So rather than face that, we're going back to what we talked about before, rather than face that weakness, I'm going to cover it up with tons of spiritual knowledge. I'm going to force the love to happen because I'll be so wise and knowledgeable instead of just face the irrational fear that I don't deserve the love. I mean, in this moment, I see that it's an illusion. We all have a heart. Even the idea of like, oh, you have a big heart, he has a small heart. Even that is like,
Yeah, it's
we
just,
have a heart.
it's like, exactly. The bottom line is we are born with the heart,
Mm.
but how much is covered? Covered with your own ideas, covered with your own knowledge, covered with your own greed,
And then
doing whatever.
and then superimposed with this fear, irrational fear that I don't have a heart, and I have to hide that fact. I'm broken. My heart, like this lie that we tell ourselves, it's almost an excuse not to try.
Exactly.
It's like a trick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the bottom line is person will do everything else, but not to turn the face toward its own heart. Because this is the only way is impersonal. This is where you're gonna lose your personal love. It's just dangerous to the mind, to the structure. So so many times it's like it can be the person can try do things from ages, but then if the person feels like I'm exhausted from all the every doing, and then person, if it's lucky enough, will turn the face toward this way through the help though.
Yeah, it just has to be love. There's no other way. And it's like when you touch the love, it's of course it doesn't even feel like you're losing. It just feels like you're gaining the universe. It just feels like it's the opposite of any kind of cost. It's like how
Exactly.
you realize that everything else you were doing was the cost because you were denying yourself your true birthright, which is to dissolve into this love.
Yes.
And that's a really powerful word, like birthright. It's our right to dissolve.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Everybody has a right to dissolve.
Yes. This possibility is there in the human being.
Mhm.
It's like the human being has reached to the point where there is a possibility to move to the next level.
in this texture of this love. If I could just come back to the to the beginning for a moment. This idea of self-love, it seems to me from this place is like just a misunderstanding. I mean, the what we really want is we want ourself to feel love. We don't need to love ourself. And when you're in the love, you feel love in every molecule of yourself. And it's just love. It's not, doesn't have an object. It's not like I love me or I love you or I love this or I love that. It's just I'm bathed in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the self becomes completely irrelevant. It's not what's being loved, it's that you're being touched by love. And you can really feel it almost in every molecule, this beautiful vibration. And then the awareness can open and you realize that everything's vibrating that. The universe, just everything is that. And you are all of that. And then the word self just becomes more and more unneeded and sort of just strange. Self, what are you talking about? What self? You never were that. You always were all of this.
Even the person acknowledge that I'm lacking. I'm lacking this self-love, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's off your faces toward this possibility. I'm lacking.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go into the mind to figure out if I'm lacking, then how I'm gonna create this self-love. If you are sitting in this lack, your face is that way. Then you keep on opening that how many ways I just not loving myself. It's like there's a lack, there's a lack, there's a sleepiness, there I'm beating this. It's like you see, it's like just once your face is this way. But if you just right away, you just like, okay, then how to do it? And then
It's
you
so,
just want to pick up then those old tools again, what to do.
yeah, and it's such a misunderstanding of what love is because you can't, it's not yours. You can't do anything. You can't create the other. The love is not you. It becomes you. It's in you. I don't have the right words, but it's just so clear in this moment that it's like we're trying to take responsibility for too much.
Yeah.
Just see your lack and be gentle with that, and the love will.
Yeah. Yeah. Because so much openness is needed this way. And you need to drop your tools, you drop your weapon. Right? You only can drop it if you see I'm holding, I'm fighting. I'm just against the flow, I'm blocking. Okay? Yeah. Nothing can be done if you're not aware of it.
And just for all of us to just remember that the moment that you see something that you've been trying to hide, that you think you don't like, It's the most beautiful moment you could ever have.
Exactly.
It's like the most beautiful gift you could ever get. It's just, and you don't know where it came from. Your seeing gave it to you. Your eyes gave it to you. God gave it. It's just a gift. That's grace. So it's ripe with possibility in life.
You just don't need to cover it again.
I can see what you mean when you say unfolding, because I almost see it that way. It's like you just like paper mache, like you just start to unfold until you just become this flat nothingness. You just become everything and nothing, this big infinitely thin sheet of paper. I just see it visually, like unfolding.
Yeah.
It's like you're a piece of paper that's been balled up and you have all these wrinkles and you're just flattening yourself out and just
At least you can see it's a paper. You can see it's a quality. Like, right? It's just beginning. That's what I said. Need to be realistic.
in that context. When you say realistic, what do you mean exactly? Need to be realistic, like
It's like because it's like a spiritual way, even religious. It's like the person is not being realistic. Person is just living upon this bold knowledge. Right? It's not becoming real.
not really facing what we're made of.
Yeah. It's just actually person is putting more unrealness on top of it, this unrealness, as we said earlier.
So being realistic is just facing what you really are, whether it's greed or whatever, just naked way, simple way, just like this is who I am.
Yeah. Even for example, you wake up in your weakness. You wake up in your weakness, it's like it's a sobering you. Right? It's like all of a sudden your eyes are seeing something more than before you, right? It's like becoming or earning this realness. If you stay asleep in this weakness, and this weakness is behind the scene, is giving you just so many wrong ideas. It's just keeping you in a sleepy mode because it's just working for you, telling you what to do, what not to do, what's right, what's wrong, even crime, or self-righteousness. It's like, it's just happening behind the scene, behind
Controlling you.
this veil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this veil is being lifted, then you see, oh, it's my weakness. Then you wake up in your weakness. You're more real than before. Because it's not like a ghost. It's not like a devil sitting behind it or God is sitting behind it, right? That is being unrealistic.
It's you.
You just unveil it. You'll see what is there. It's just like your own voice, right? Becomes a God or devil. But if you unveil yourself, then you see. No, you unveil. you earn this self-love.
And it's very straightforward and simple too. It's not this lofty, spiritual, complicated thing. It's just be honest about who you are and where you're coming from.
Yes. Yes.
Just admit it, however you want, whatever words you want to use.
Mm-hmm. And even when we using the words admit it, it's just like, okay, I am that, but the person do it with the words, with the mind. Admitting is, it's like something shattering you. It's like, it's not easy. Your ego shatters.
Yeah, we can hold it at a distance and talk about it, but to really be with our weakness.
Yeah. We need to earn. We need to earn all the qualities. We need to earn this self-love. So we can relate with this, or we can call it its rhythm. We can relate with it. It's
Hear
music.
Hear the music. It's beautiful. And that's what's great about a group of other people. They have different qualities. And if you see them, you can see, I don't have that. And how beautiful. Like I'm starting to see that a little bit more in others in the group. Like, wow, I don't have that. I don't have that. And it's becoming less beating and more like, oh, that's something I really need. I need that, what they have.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you're being touched by others' qualities.
Mhm.
When you're being directly touched by others' quality, it's just like you're earning it, even like a little drop.
Yeah. Because it's showing you your lack, but in the most beautiful way. Not in a critical way at all. It's just like, I have a weak, this person has this blah. Oh, I'm weak there. Okay. I see myself more now. Thank you, kind of thing.
Mm.
It's almost like we're all these faces of this big, beautiful diamond, and everybody's just has a little different piece. We want to know the whole diamond.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful way to say this.
Thank you, Gurpreet.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.